Okay, so this phone survived summers, winters, long flights, hotspot tortures, drops, even got sandwiched between a lot of different devices, and I also did a lot of doom scrolling on this phone, but still, it just refuses to age, just like me. And this is a 10 months review of S25 Ultra, and in this video, I'll tell you my complete experience with this phone with both good and bad. Let's get started. Alright, so I switched to this phone from my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and since I was switching OS, the initial few days were kind of bumpy. The separate work profile didn't suit me, the camera tuning was very different than what I was used to, the boxy white design felt a bit uncomfortable, and of course, I missed MagSafe a lot. But after initial few days, things changed drastically and in a good way. For starters, the anti-reflective coating on the S25 Ultra is honestly a feature that I didn't know I needed. Seriously, it just makes the visibility so much better that you kind of want it on every other phone. And it's not just outdoors, it absorbs the reflection pretty well even indoors. iPhones have added a bit of anti-reflective coating in their 17 Pro series, but still, it comes nowhere close to the S25 Ultra. There's a bit of a catch. See, if you apply a third-party tempered glass, the anti-reflective coating doesn't remain as strong as you would like. It just fades a bit. So either you get Samsung's official anti-reflective film, which is not a tempered, or else don't use protection at all. That is something you should know. In my case, I used it with the film but changed it multiple times over the last 10 months. But still, the screen is as good as new. By the way, for most of my usage, the phone was kept safely inside the case. But that doesn't mean that it didn't touch grass or floor or table. All I'm saying is that this phone had its fair share of accidental drops. By the way, here's something very interesting about the build quality. Even after so many months of usage, the S25 Ultra still looks as good as new. But the recently launched iPhone 17 Pro Max already got chipped at so many places. Just look at that. Now this clearly shows that the titanium that they are using has more longevity compared to the regular aluminum that you find in most other phones. And yeah, it's lighter too, which is always a plus. Now, there's one thing that I kept forgetting throughout my usage is the S Pen. Actually, to be very honest, I did not use S Pen as much as I thought I would. I might have taken it out to flex or maybe look very busy, but that's about it. In fact, I was also among the one who were pissed when Samsung removed Bluetooth from S Pen, but now that I look back, it's not really a deal breaker. Let's talk about the haptics for a bit. Haptics quality, excellent. Haptics integration, not so much. Yes, there's no haptic feedback in volume or brightness or even recent app page. But if you know your way around One UI, there are some workarounds, at least in some areas. For example, you can add haptics in the volume slider by using this good lock module called Sound Assistant. It does look cool, but still, I wish Samsung improves their haptic integration because it elevates the user experience a lot. Alright, if I talk about the performance, you already know about the specs and the benchmarks, so I won't get too much into that. What I will talk about is whether this phone gave me any hard time or not, and the short answer to that is no. It did not. I mean, I used it in all possible situations. There was this time when the phone was on Android Auto for a long route. The Google Maps navigation was turned on, music was playing continuously, and I was also watching reels on my phone, and still the phone kept its calm. No stutter, no slowdown, and no unnecessary heating. Even in day-to-day usage with marathons of reel scrolling, Snapchat streaks, binge watching movies, or those long video calls, the phone never came in the way. And for gaming, which by the way I don't do a lot, I gave it to the experts and asked their opinion, and this is what they said. For BGMI 120 FPS, the gameplay is pretty good and there's no heating at all. And same is the case for Arena Breakout. For Genshin, it goes only up to 60 FPS, but the gameplay is good, and for Wuthering Waves, the frames drop a bit and the temperature rises slightly. Overall, for gaming, it's pretty good. Now, here's a fun one. I was on a cruise which was going from Italy to France, and in between there was zero cellular connectivity, nothing. We were allowed to connect only one device to the cruise Wi-Fi, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I connected my iPhone 16 Pro Max to the cruise Wi-Fi, which I was still carrying as my secondary device. And the moment I did it, instant regret, because iPhone doesn't allow Wi-Fi sharing over hotspot. So now I'm stuck in the middle of the ocean with an iPhone that refuses to share internet. I literally had to go back to the officials and explain them the entire situation. Then they disconnected my iPhone and connected the Wi-Fi over S25 Ultra, which by the way lets you share Wi-Fi over hotspot. See, the thing is, it's simple things like this where iPhone always create problems while Android just doesn't. Now, apart from that, the phone launched with One UI 7 based on Android 15, but right now it's on One UI 8 based on Android 16. I know, the update was delayed this time, but it's better late than being buggy. In One UI, I did not experience any noticeable or memorable bug throughout my usage, but in iOS 26, not a day goes without encountering a bug. And of course, One UI is just loaded with features, and you are sorted for updates till 2032. Some of the One UI features that I personally use a lot are dual audio, which basically lets you pair two sets of TWS or headphones to watch stuff together. There's also separate app sound that lets you play music on your car from your phone while still watching reels on it. It's just godsend. I also use full screen music player on lock screen and AOD just to flex the customizability. And finally, there's screen recording annotations, which is useful while I give feedback to my video team on the videos in production. By the way, I also use some good lock modules to spice things up. You notice this sound? This is the sound that you hear when you take out or put in the S Pen, and it's brought to you by Pentastic. I also use Lockstar to customize things on lock screen and AOD, Keys Cafe to spice up the keyboard, and Home Up to make the home screen look this cool. Apart from this, all the interesting software features, AI is where Samsung really shines. Actually, when I switched from my iPhone 16 Pro Max to the S25 Ultra, I was hardly using any AI for obvious reasons, but now, after using this phone for such a long time, my entire perspective has changed. First of all, I found myself using Writing Assist a lot because it's integrated very well into the keyboard and you can access it anywhere you want, be it Instagram, WhatsApp, Gmail, Snapchat, Slack, you get the idea. But on Apple, the AI writing tool was blocked on all Meta apps and you could only access it fully in the Notes app, which is obviously not very user-friendly. In photo editing also, not only I could do a lot more than iPhones, but I was also getting much better results. The noise removal feature is something that I use every time whenever I send my son's video to my parents. It's actually very useful. The integration of Gemini Live with Samsung is also solid AF. It can handle multiple tasks with ease, it doesn't go off context even for longer conversations, and more importantly, it can take its own decisions, unlike Siri, which has to double check with ChatGPT first. Overall, switching from iOS to One UI might feel a bit overwhelming at first, but once you give it a go and give it a try, you will actually find it more useful and more feature-rich. Battery is one area where Samsung is yet to adapt the silicon carbon batteries, but even with a decently sized 5000 mAh battery, I was easily getting 6 to 7 hours of SOT with my kind of usage. Just so you know, I use my phone a lot, like a lot, but I don't game much. Also, these battery life numbers are with display resolution set to 2K and location and NFC are enabled all the time. I also use AOD and that too with lock screen wallpaper and photo ambient wallpaper turned on. I mean, if I paid for it, I will use all the features. I really don't care about the battery. If I talk about the charging time, it takes 1 hour 10 minutes to charge it up fully, which is not the fastest, but it's also not inconvenient. Plus you get 15 watt wireless charging support along with 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging, which is also good to have. Now, when it comes to connectivity, I used the phone with my Airtel SIM and I did not experience any problem at all, be it while calling or internet speeds. Even when I was traveling, the international roaming worked just fine. Other than that, the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, Type-C port, everything is just top of the line. Plus you can either put two physical SIM, one physical SIM or one eSIM or both eSIMs. It's totally up to you. Nice, isn't it? Samsung Tap to Pay is also the best thing ever. Seriously, after using Apple Wallet for storing boarding passes for years, I was really hopeless of these smartphone wallets. But with Samsung, it's not the case. It actually makes your life easy because not only you can add your cards, but you can also add your UPI and even things like your driving license, your PAN card, your tickets and even boarding passes. I know, a lot of you guys are waiting for camera, but I specifically kept it at last because we don't click as many photos as we think we do. But still, let me tell you my experience with the camera on this phone. First of all, this is what the camera specs looks like. 200 megapixel main camera, 50 megapixel ultra wide, 10 megapixel 3x telephoto and 50 megapixel 5x periscope. And on the front, you get 12 megapixel selfie shooter as well. For the most part, photos look good, colors are kept natural and the details are fine too. And in nighttime also, it captures good enough light. The 3x shots are also good, especially in daytime, but in nighttime, it's not really usable. And if I talk about the 5x shots, they come out very impressive. I also took 100x shots with the periscope and I think the message is pretty clear here. The ultra wide lens also captures some really good shots in daytime, but in nighttime, it's just decent-ish. Nothing spectacular. The portraits have good details, natural colors, great edge detection and proper bokeh. It's not too soft and not too harsh. The video quality is also pretty good. This is a 4K 60 video and as you can see, the lenses are getting switched but still the quality did not change a lot. There is some color shift but nothing major. Stability is also good enough. Overall, S25 Ultra has a solid camera setup which works brilliantly good in daytime and even in nighttime, the main lens does handle things well. And yeah, the videos also turn out pretty good. good. I will be leaving camera samples Drive links, so make sure you check them out. Okay, so now that I've talked extensively about my long-term experience with S25 Ultra, here's how I would like to sum it up. See, even after 10 months of usage, S25 Ultra isn't just holding up, it's still leading. Display is really good, performance and battery has no drama, software and AI is the best you can get, and cameras, well, they are reliable too. Of course, there are few things to improve like haptics integration, battery and fast charging, but if I had to pick one Android to trust long-term even in 2025, it's this one. So yeah, that's it from my side. Which phone do you want us to review next in a long-term practical review series? Tell me in the comments, and if you're also using S25 Ultra, share your experiences so that everyone can know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.